Hello, good morning. A very wonderful, beautiful Tuesday to you all, our viewers there. My name is Ilekweme Daniel, and I welcome you today to another exciting edition of Sports Splash on ABS this morning. And in the studio today, I have my brother Ajolo Okawe. When are you going to really wish your title?
Don't worry. Next year, Sports Festival is coming. It's just around the corner. In fact, since you've been talking about that, currently they are playing the Youth Festival in Asaba as we speak now. And Team Anambra in the Scrabble section, they are on top as we speak now. So we just want to see if they can see it through with the remaining 5 games that they have to play today.
Okay. All right, quickly, let's move fast on some of the highlight of sporting activities that happened during the weekend. Some of the games where people like Chelsea lost their matches, and maybe people are predicting Chelsea is dreaming to go on relegation, but I am rebuking that for their sake, because Chelsea is a very big team for now. And my brother is relaxing well too. Okay, let's just start the news now. The much awaited 2023-2024 Nigerian Premier League football is to start on Saturday, 30th of this month, after a heavy set of postponement. But the beauty about this is that the MPFL is starting on a very good note, whereby the winner of this premiership this season will be going home with 150 million. Just 50 million on top of the 100 million that was won the last season, 2022-2023. Now, every team, the 20 teams will be given 10 million for being part of this, and some other incentives. That's what the Nigerian Premier League football is up to now. That's all the postponement and all the stuff has finally been laid to rest. And finally, Saturday, 30th of September, the Premier League will start.
Well,
now, how do you see this development?
Our kudos to them for finally getting the league started, you understand, because getting the league started will definitely help our teams that are playing continental football improve, so that they will now have that rigor of playing league matches and then going on the continental. Well, we keep saying kudos to them, but at the same time, the quality is what really matters to me, you understand? Because now, when you begin to have issues of league dilly-dallying on resumption date, it will give the players that are already in
Nigeria. We already have a date. Now, let's leave the aspect. We already have a date now, 30th of September. Now, let's look at the incentives of the first time in history, 150 million.
Well, it's laudable to say 150 million is good enough for a team, you understand, in this part of the world. That will go a long way in getting players in their right frame of mind, getting the necessary players that you need to buy, and the management to have a hitch free next season, you understand, because that money can go a whole long way. So you give it kudos to them, but then you keep asking, why does it need to happen to the extent of postponing the league before you now begin to have all these things sorted out? This thing should have been sorted out way before the end of the penultimate league, and then you now begin to...
Well, you're not in anybody's purse.
Sincerely speaking, that's why I said this thing should be a continuous process. It's not just at the league, at the end of a league, you now begin to think of what happens to the next person.
I wouldn't totally agree with you, because most of the times, a sponsor might decide to pull out at the 11th hour. This is
our contract. You don't just pull out, then you pay the penalties due for that pulling out, because you will disrupt a whole lot of things.
Which whenever it happens, definitely there's going to be a standstill. So what we're trying to say is that even if your sponsor decides to pull out, it's a contract, but maybe there is an issue. Maybe the company is going on bankruptcy. So how do you want them? What do you want them to do?
That is what I keep saying. It is not just one person that sponsors the whole league. There are all hands being on deck.
You would say that you have different categories of sponsorship. But maybe the particular one they are looking out for, which hampers the resumption date of...
But now, the question I ask you, the money generated from your TV right and the rest of it, what do you do? Is it that at the end of a season, you guys share the proceeds? and then leave the treasury
The last
empty.
time I checked, I'm a staff of Anambra Broadcasting.
But that is the case you have, because there should be a level of continuity. If you want to sponsor your products, your goods and services with the NPF, you know that you've entered a contract with these people, and the contract should be stipulated for what number of years. You understand? And at the end of it all, both parties.
And maybe that was what Benga Legbele and Davis Owumi, they have been able to fine-tune this thing, and that's why they have given us 30th as a resumption date. So what we all be saying now is, let's see how the 30th
pans out.
So, and we want to say very big kudos to them. And the incentives is quite a mouth-watering
for the winner anyway, 150 million. But 10 million
incentives.
Except maybe there are other spelled out.
No, there are other spelled out incentives for every owner, which won't be able to start dissecting that because of other stories we have. All right, let's move forward. Napoli Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen apologizes to his coach after an outburst. Man, a lot of sledgehammer is waiting for him, and I think it's high time Osimhen will need to tune down. Yet he's always this hot temper when he doesn't score, and he was substituted, and he went to his coach face to face and started saying one or two things which they consider as an indiscipline and a gross misconduct, which the Italian FA wanted to slam him, and a lot of players, ex-players, and even the team captain has slammed him as well, said, man, you got no balls to go and do that to our coach. But yesterday he came out and really sincerely apologized. We're still waiting if the sledgehammer will still fall on him.
Well, a striker always, gets, let's say, over the top whenever they don't get their acts together. But then the discipline of a player should be that, irrespective of whether you're scoring the goals or you're keeping a clean sheet, as the case of maybe a goalkeeper, you should keep your temper in check. Yeah, cool. You don't go out there and begin to, you understand, rubbish your coach, because it shows a whole lot of things. One, you're indisciplined. Secondly, you have no disregard for your manager. Your manager says, you understand, your manager, and then your teammates too. You're letting your teammates down, because now you begin to see that are you the hero that is making this forest called Napoli? You're not. You understand? Because the team can still survive without you. You understand? So these are the things that players need to understand. That I remember Alex Ferguson that would say that no club, you understand, can sign a player that the player will not become bigger than the club. You understand? So irrespective of your scoring 50 goals a season, and then you go 2-3 matches and you don't score, go and work on yourself. You understand? If you feel there's a sabotage between you and your teammates, sort that out with the management of the team. And then when you get substituted, you understand, then you begin to throw tantrums at your coaches and then insult him. And then, let me even make you understand, even the greatest players do have off days. You understand? Definitely. The greatest players do have off days. You understand? You understand? So you can't expect to go in every match. You understand? So you should understand that this life itself, you have your peak and you have your nosedive moment. So Osimhen, please, I'm not going to be a supporter of you. Because
this part of this misconduct could affect the chances of being the African player, could affect him in sort of things.
I can give you on my finger without blinking 10 players that have ended their career based on misconduct.
There are many of them.
Yeah, you understand? Balotelli, number one, comes to mind. You understand? So when you begin to have indiscipline tainted with your career, your person, irrespective of how good you are, you definitely know that players, coaches, whenever they want to sign, this guy is good at bots. You know, say one bot enters.
That's the end of it.
That's the end of it. So, Osimhen, please, we don't know you to be this kind of a person, but then try as much as you can to put your acts in check, and then know that the team. Football is all a team game. It's not just all about you.
Not one person.
It's not personal. This is not tennis. This is not tennis. Yes. So take it easy, man.
All right, the NFF has sent out provisional invitations to 35 players in respect to the Nigerian friendly matches against Saudi Arabia that will be coming up on 13th of October in Portugal. 35 players, invitation, just for this match. How do you look at it?
Well, I think anything Nigerian NFA should be, or NFF should be doing right now should be, by now, be streamlining at least 70% of the players that they believe will execute the Nations Cup. Because These are the
coming out of
exactly.
trial and error.
No, we should be out of trial and error. You understand? You have a tournament in less than 6 months, and this tournament we want to go there and win it, because you can't have the array of strikers that Nigeria possesses right now, and then you'll be going to Nations Cup and be telling us that you're going there to go and at least semi-final. You understand? That is not what we're talking about. So whosoever that are there, maybe the technical crew of the NFF and the coach himself, should know that this is the time where we need to like fine-tune the players that will play and execute the Nations Cup perfectly for us. The other day on the internet, I was reading about Solanke from Bournemouth, saying that he wishes to play for his fatherland. You understand? Since the Three Lions have not seen him or deemed him worthy to don the jersey, you understand, of English national team, that is open to invitation from Nigeria. And I'm sure that very soon now, Pesero, in his usual way, we invite him and bring him. Even though we have a lot of strikers, you understand, there are areas where we still need 1 or 2 fine-tuning, like that midfield, because we really need to get our acts right. And I'm sure that if you ask an average Nigerian, what is even the formation of Super Eagles? Most people don't even know. You understand? So these are the areas where I believe that, irrespective of we have matches to play, and no match should be used as, okay, this is an underdog. No, you can't call Saudi Arabia underdog. Use every match as if you're playing your Cote d'Ivoire, your Ghana, your prospective opponent come the Nations Cup. So I think this is the business end of friendlies that we have, bearing in mind that we want to go out there next year, January, and give up a brilliant performance, and most probably bring that trophy back home.
And you know that in as much as we're playing the Saudi Arabians, and we're preparing also for the qualification of World Cup as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We're playing Lesotho and some of the other teams there.
In our group.
Okay. Well, let's see how it turns out, and see. After Saudi 89, I don't think we've ever played against Saudi Arabia before.
Well, I think, I can't remember we played. I think there was a friendly we played, I think around 1995 or so. I can't really remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was a friendly we played.
Yeah, we had a friendly or something like that. NFF celebrated Tijani Babangida at 50. Yes, some of us were, majority or the younger generation might not really know him, but Tijani Babangida was one of the best outside right player Super Eagles ever produced.
Please,
and
call him Okada.
Okada, popularly called Okada Airline. And this is a player that has traveled far and wide, has played a lot of footballs in Europe. Vivian Velo, played for Ajax, played for in Altida. He played in so many places that I can't start mentioning all. But it's one of the games we always remember him from is the Nations Cup.
Yeah, semi-finals against
South Africa, where he dealt seriously with McFish. He destroyed McFish. That video, I don't think McFish will ever want to watch that video.
That's the genius, you understand, of a coach that knows how to.
Because they were all preparing for Kanu
and the rest of them to come to the middle, you understand. But then the coach then said, "Man, there is a better way to go about there's a better way to go about this whole thing, and then use the flanks. And that flanks gave us all we needed to do in that.
So Tijani, we're wishing you happy birthday. He's now 50 years old. Yes, kudos to you, bro. All right, Cyril Deza has found his goal form again with Rangers of Scotland, as it's called, the only goal against Motherwell. Yeah, the Super Eagles new guy who has been forgotten, frozen out because of injuries and not performing very well. You know, he has to leave the Italian league. Now he's in Rangers of Scotland. He scored the only goal last weekend, and says, by the special grace of God, he's back. And he has been capped 2 times with the Super Eagles, and is believing that he's going to come back to his form so that he will come back home and struggle for the jersey. So, Deza, we pray that you continue scoring. Next, we have Austin Eguavo and Portugal tactician Take Konde to drill coaches of NNL next month. That's the Nigerian and Nationwide League. From October 15 to 18, there's going to be a seminar where the head of the technical team, Augustine Eguavo, the former Super Eagles defender, and the former Super Eagles coach and Super Eagles captain, will be sit with the Portuguese tactician that is brought in to talk to. There's going to be a clinical summit where they will be addressing some of the nationwide, the Nigerian National League coaches to drill them, to tell them the new intakes and stuff. You know, some people say, why Eguavon? And I mean, so he has something like this in him, and you know what happened last time. But the truth about it is that this guy has been going about refreshing himself. I remember when he went to FC20 to understudy McLean's. He's been going about, you know, trying to refresh him. These are the things we ask coaches to always do. If that's the career you want to pursue, you have to extensively.
You have to keep improving yourself, because football as it is today, it's evolving at a very fast pace.
You know, I could remember the game against Man United at Arsenal. They asked Arteta, how did you win? He said, I played almost 40-something tactics in a match. And people were like, wow, when, how? So these are some of the things coaches, Nigerian coaches, must imbibe. You don't just be stereotyped and playing 4-4-2. And you are losing, or you are not scoring. And you are still stereotyped that it must be like that. No. At times you must change. If this is not going, you change. I've seen a match in Chelsea during Jose Mourinho. He brought in a player, and it was as if the match was going to be a goalless, and he needed to win that match. He just 5 minutes after he brought in that player, he pulled him out and brought in somebody, and immediately he brought that, whether Solomon Kalou or somebody, he brought him, and the person gave the goal that he was looking out for. The player might be angry, but him as a coach, he's eyeing that cup, and that was how it is. So our coaches must learn these things. You mustn't just say, okay, I'm starting with 3-5-1 formation, Philippe Trozer, and that is how it's going to end. You know, no, you must diversify. And that's why we say, people like Austin Eguavon, that's a very big one, coming to talk to more than 40 coaches, you know, on how to improve and things they need to know. With the Portuguese tactician to Conde that will be there with them. On the October 15th to 18th, that's when the workshop will be going on. So we'll say very big kudos to them. All right, not just only Cyril Deza that has found his form. Our tall striker, Paul Onuachu, who left Gent, went to Southampton, and it became a very big problem to him. In fact, at the time, he became so frustrated and was like, are you sure I'm still the Paul Onuachu? Today, he left Southampton and he's in Trabzonspor of Turkey, and he's been to found the net again. He scored in the match where he won the man of the match. But another Nigerian, Dele Bashiru, took the joy out of his hands because he scored the winning goal where from 2 goals down, they defeated Trabzonspor with 3-2. And Paul Onuachu scored one of the goals and he gave one of the assists. So this young man, you know how long he has been off from Super Eagles? Of course. You know, and going to Southampton, I saw it as a very big error.
Well, is it because Southampton went down?
Southampton was already going down. You know, most of the times, African player must understand this fact that it's all about money. They might give you a great offer, but a smaller club might give you a playing opportunity. If you still want to continue playing football, you must always differentiate both.
Yeah, but you, as the player, you need to weigh both options to see if you get a playing time and an improved offer. And then we still talk about the quality of the league that you're going to play in. I'm sure most players would prefer to play in even a team that is close to relegation in England than to play with a middle team, maybe say Turkey or maybe Netherlands.
No, but you can't call Turkey. Turkey has been in existence. Turkey has been coming.
But then, they are not amongst the first 5 in Europe. No, the first 5 major clubs in Europe are the English Premier League, the La Liga, the French, and then the Serie A and the Bundesliga. That's the 5 major. Every other thing, the next in line is the Dutch. And probably maybe the Turkish league.
So you remove the Dutch.
What? How many teams from Turkey has won Champions League? That is the coefficient in judging. You understand? So how many leagues from Turkey have won Champions League?
But they come
you've
to
seen,
Champions League,
but they do come. But what's the performance?
because
But you have Ajax has won Champions League 4 times. You understand? So those are the coefficients that UEFA use in judging these teams. You understand? Until your team,
we used to judge, we Nigerians.
Until your team begin to do well in Champions League, you understand? In your respective countries, then you can now come up. There's a coefficient. That's how they do the group stage
but that's
Champions
true,
League. You understand? So you need to be consistent, and that is somehow why some of these clubs have better pay grade than others. And again, you talk about then the TV rights. Some of these clubs, I mean, these countries do have in their own league too.
Okay, so we wish Paul Onuachu
more scoring,
prowess. Find his form so that we need him in the Super Eagles because we need that height. We need that height. But just that he has not been used properly. I've not seen any coach that has used him, from Generoy to Jose Pesiro, who has invited, I think he has invited him once, or he has not invited him, but he has not been used properly. But
it all depends on the tactics of the coach.
That's what I just said.
Some coaches don't like
all the coaches we have here are all stereotyped kind of coaches, and that's not what we want. You must, every player, you must give that player opportunity. You must know how to use a player in the field of play. You know, so kudos to you, young man. Former UFC champion Israel Adesanya risks 3 months jail term after pleading guilty of drunk driving in New Zealand. Well, I think the New Zealand judge should understand. He lost his title belt. They should understand that's why he's drunk. But you know, in those advanced countries, ignorance is not an excuse.
It's not an excuse, young man.
Yeah.
He knew the consequences when he was on the wheels. You understand?
Maybe he didn't know. He just felt he's hot that he lost his belt. But he has pleaded guilty, and he's
left to the
his clemency is left to the judge to know what to do. But if he strikes him, then he's going on a 3 months jail term, because he already has pleaded guilty, and we pray. Amen. This guy has to bounce back and take his belt.
Well, he has a lot age on his side. Still a very young guy. He has a long way to go in the, you understand, UFC, and then, well, it's a shining light, and then and the other guy too, Usman, you understand. These are the guys that are really plying their trade there in the UFC, and then I believe more Nigerians will definitely go.
Usman's younger brother is there.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing well. He just won his bout last week.
Okay.
So, well, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain closer. You know, every week we come on Tuesdays to give you some of the splash light on things that happen in sports, and that's why we're here. Next week, Tuesday, we'll be coming your way as well again to give you some exciting sports stories that are going on and things that happen in the weekend. So on this note, we're drawing the curtain close on Sports Today. My name is Tilekwema Daniel. Ajolo, thanks for coming.
It's always a pleasure being here to talk about sports. Thank you for watching.
Bye for now.